Hi, my name's Cham Tang, the co-founder of Authentic Education. And we started the company roughly 8 years ago. And throughout the years, people ask us a very similar question, which is, how did we get started? But that's not really the question that you want to ask, because we made so many mistakes throughout the years. And at one stage, I remember in year 2, I felt like quitting. So I don't think you want to copy what we did, because it's not the smoothest ride towards success, so to speak. But I believe the real question you want to ask is, if we had to start over again, knowing what we now know with 8 years of experience in training thousands of people across Australia, how would we do it differently? And that's what I would like to go through today. And I don't expect you to copy everything that we do, but it is a good blueprint for people that wanted to make a start doing what they love for a living, instead of perhaps working 9 to 5 in a job that they're not really passionate about and not getting paid what they're worth. So here are the steps in very rough order, because I believe you don't have to get it right, you just have to get it started. The first thing, I draw a circle on a whiteboard. Circle on a flip chart. Now, the first thing I do is get in the ballpark of what you're interested in. You don't have to be so precise. It doesn't have to be something like, I want to help women between the age of 40 and 41 lose weight just around their stomach. It doesn't have to be that precise. It could be just as broad as health. So as an example, I'm going to write health up here in my very messy handwriting. Once you've got that ballpark, then I believe the second step you could do is develop a product. You don't have to develop a full-on product with all your I's and T's crossed and everything like that. You just have to have a few bullet points, just enough to talk about it and inspire someone to purchase it. And in order to do that, generally the best thing to do is to just look around the marketplace and use someone else's research, i.e. model or copy, for want of a better phrase, model what they've done. So I might jump onto Google and Google something like health products in London. Why health products in London? It's because they're so far away and I'm here in Sydney that even if I kind of borrow a few things from them and another company in London, they're not really going to know or care anyways, because I'm all the way here in Sydney. By the way, if you copy one person's stuff, it's plagiarizing, but if you copy 2 people's things, it's actually research. That's how everything is developed. So if you research, brainstorm, and you get little bits, put your own positive spin on it, that's how everything's developed as well, built on the shoulders, so to speak, of tall giants before us. So I would start to create a product here. So you might end up having a product. The product also has a name and it has a price. It has 2 kind of prices. The first one might be a coaching program that you saw someone else develop. And you think, oh, I could develop a coaching program to do with weight loss for people over the age of 40, as an example. Once again, you don't have to get it right, you just have to get it started. It just has to be within the ballpark of something that you could do. If you're waiting for some sign out of the blue to say, yes, this is the thing I should be doing for the rest of my life, you'd be waiting a very, very long time. So the price has 2 prices. The first price is what you would ideally like to charge in, let's say, 3 years' time. That could be a $2,000 coaching program. The second price is what you would charge more like 3 months' time. This could be something like $200 because you're just starting out. So I would choose an ideal price and then a cheaper price. The next thing I would do, which is step number 3, is once I've got my ballpark, I've got the product, the next thing I would do is actually think, what can I give something for free? What can I give someone, rather, for free that would give them value and therefore build a relationship between us? For us at Authentic Education, it's a free event, but for you it could be a webinar, a free discovery session, a free piece of your product if you do products, something like that. So as an example, we run Prosper From Your Passion. So I'm going to put that there. But whatever it is, it's a free thing. You're starting a relationship with someone, so you don't want to be asking them for money right off the bat. So you give something for free, and in that free thing, give as much value as you possibly can. And then for a small percentage of it, say, hey, if you like that, I've got this other thing that you might be interested in. Obviously, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but this is a rough ballpark of what I would be doing. The next thing, step 4 of what I would do, is I would actually go and look at marketing it. So I would use Facebook ads. So I'm going to write that in blue, since Facebook ads are blue. I would do Facebook ads or some type of marketing method. You could do something like letterbox drops, not that I would recommend that, that's the thing that came to my head. But yeah, Facebook ads, email marketing, joint ventures, social media, there's a whole bunch. But I believe if I was starting from scratch and wanted something quickly, I'd use Facebook ads. Throughout that time, I'd also, as I'm using Facebook ads, be building an email list. Once I had one marketing method that was working well, I might go to a second one. So once Facebook is working well, I might try Google ads as an example. Step 5, what I would do next is I would create the product. So now I've got this product here. I would actually solidify that and then start creating all of the things in there. So all of the bullet points of what they get, writing the manual, looking at what their homework is, anything to do with creating that full product which they paid money for, I would start creating that and then delivering it. This happens, by the way, only after I've sold it. I mean, even Thomas Edison, the world famous inventor, said that he's not interested in creating anything that no one's going to buy. So I create the product and then deliver it. And last but not least, I would repeat the whole thing again. So once this is finished, I would repeat the entire thing again. I would therefore go and create another product that same person is interested in. See, ideally, if one person here is interested in health, instead of going for another customer, I would rather satisfy the many needs of that one particular customer instead. So I'd repeat the whole process again and think, what else does this person who's interested in health enjoy? And they might enjoy relationships, and I would create the whole thing again and repeat the whole process. So here's a lot of things that I wouldn't do. I haven't put in here that I wouldn't really worry too much about, business cards, websites, lots of other things that I believe are distractions. I remember one time I was sitting in my email inbox. In the back of my mind, I caught myself rearranging my emails with the best colored labels. I was thinking, does my tax label, is that a red label or a blue? And I was like, this is such a complete waste of time. So I would class many things that business owners do as a distraction. If it's not directly related to these things, finding out who your ideal client is, looking at the actual products and things that would help them, developing marketing for it, getting in front of them, offering your value, building a relationship. If it's not directly related to that, I believe it's a distraction and therefore it can wait. The other 5 things I would love to mention is the mindset that goes along with it. So if I could go back in time, sit myself down, have a little pep talk, from a mindset point of view, I guess, which sits above all of this stuff that you should do, I would focus on the long term instead. Focus on the long term. What I mean by that is, very often when we're trying to do a big project, including building a business, we're focused on the short term. But I believe if this is the 1 year mark, this is the 2 year mark, the 3 year mark, etc., it's an exponential curve sometimes. And I let you know before, I felt like quitting at around about the year 2. But then we took off right after that. So if I had to go back in time, I'd say to myself, focus on the long term. The person who has the longest term view is the one that wins. And I believe, especially with a lot of our clients, we can start seeing results in as little, this here could be the 3-month mark where they take off. Because we've developed systems and we've actually seen the path so many times and refined our systems so many times, the results can be a lot quicker. So I would say, number 1, from a mindset point of view, focus on the long term. Number 2, just have faith. I let you know before, I wanted to quit at around the 2 year mark. Just have faith in what you're doing is the right thing. If you're focusing on actually helping solve people's problems, that's the number 1 thing you can be focused on. And if you keep doing that, and you actually keep helping people with their problems, their success will definitely follow for sure. Step number 3, or mindset thing number 3 that I'd give myself, a tip if you will, is once again, just know that if you focus on solving people's problems, the money is bound to follow. If you look at any business in the world that has a great degree of success, they're always focusing on solving their customers' problems. And that'll also give you the resolve to keep going, because what you know when the times get tough, and they do get tough from time to time, you know you're doing the right thing. Mindset thing number 4 is I wouldn't compare myself to others. I always used to look at other people thinking, they're further along in the journey. Maybe I should have done 9 to 5 work. I could have been earning $120,000 a year, whatever it was. Just focus on your own journey. It's a totally different journey to them. One is exponential and perhaps one more is linear, or maybe theirs is exponential as well. Who knows? But just focus on your own journey. And number 5, just enjoy and celebrate each of the small wins, each of the progresses and successes, because you're never going to finish or perfect this thing called business or this thing called life or this thing known as a relationship. It's never going to be done, so you may as well celebrate along the way. So there you have it. There's the 5 mindset tips, and before we went through what I would personally do if I was to start again. Number 1, get in the ballpark. Number 2, develop a product that's rough and ready, even if it's on the back of a napkin. Number 3, go out and give something for free, then create and deliver that product. There was marketing along the way, which I completely forgot just then in that recap, and then repeat it all again with another set of problems.